Ahsoka Tano is finally coming to live action in the second season of The Mandalorian. While viewers didn't care much for Anakin Skywalker's snippy young Padawan at first, Ahsoka later evolved into a fan favorite as the Clone Wars TV show progressed, and she's now one of the more popular characters of the franchise. We now know she'll be played by Rosario Dawson on the show, and while we're bummed it won't be Ashley Eckstein, we're still excited to see how it'll all play out. I'm Greg Elliott with Screen Rant, and here's how we think Ahsoka Tano can fit into The Mandalorian Season 2's story. So first and foremost, Ahsoka will have to meet the Mandalorian himself, and it's not that difficult of a scene to set up. We know via flashbacks that the Separatists murdered Din Djarin's family, and he was rescued by the Mandalorian group known as the Death Watch. Decades before that though, during the Clone Wars, Darth Maul killed the existing leader of the Death Watch and assumed control of them. Now, some refused to follow Maul though, and during the conflict, Ahsoka eventually became an ally of Bo-Katan Kryze, the leader of the Mandalorian resistance. So maybe her good relationship with the Mandalorians is what will eventually lead to her and Din crossing paths down the line. Ahsoka can also hopefully explain more about Baby Yoda. Nobody in the world of the Mandalorian outside of the remaining forces of the Empire seems to know much about him and his powers, and as someone who truly remembers and knows the Jedi Order, she would be the one person that's able to help Baby Yoda control and develop his powers. Ahsoka's also had personal encounters with Yoda himself. He was actually the one who assigned her to Anakin in the first place, so she just might be able to help Din learn more about Baby Yoda's lineage. There's also a pretty good chance that her introduction is going to have to do something with the Darksaber. Prior to its reveal at the end of The Mandalorian Season 1, the last time we'd seen it was in the hands of Bo-Katan in Star Wars Rebels, which takes place 5 years before A New Hope. Unfortunately, this probably means that at some point between then and the events of The Mandalorian, Bo-Katan must have faced Moff Gideon and lost. Given Ahsoka's long-standing relationship with Bo-Katan, it's possible that she and Gideon have crossed paths before, and if so, you bet that'll come up in Season 2. A big part of Ahsoka's impact on Season 2's story will obviously be dependent on the size of her role. As it stands now, it's only set to be a guest spot, so she likely won't get a lot of screen time, and therefore not a lot of time to flesh out what's happened with her in the years after Rebels. Her voice cameo in The Rise of Skywalker unfortunately likely means she is dead by the events of the Star Wars sequels, but should her role in The Mandalorian Season 2 prove successful, there could still be a larger part for her in the future. But that said, a character as big and as popular as her has the chance of overshadowing the rest of the cast, so she might be better off getting her own show if all goes well. It would be the most logical course to take given her huge fan following. In terms of popularity, there's not really much room for debate here. Ahsoka's in the Star Wars big leagues, and fans have been begging for her to make the leap to live action for years. It is a bummer that Ashley Eckstein, the actress behind her in the Clone Wars and Rebels, won't be getting the chance to bring her to life on TV, but that's Hollywood for you, and Rosario Dawson is actually a pretty good pick. A solo Ahsoka show might be a long shot, but the first big step is seeing how she fits into The Mandalorian. We'll definitely keep you posted as we learn more about Season 2, so make sure to keep checking back with Screen Rant to stay in the know. I'm Greg Elliott, and I'll see you next time. Peace.